Alan, many people today feel an almost anxious pressure to find meaning in their lives, as if meaning was something missing, something we must hunt down before time runs out. Why do you think this question troubles us so deeply?
Because you see, we've been taught to think of life as a problem to be solved rather than a mystery to be lived. In Western culture especially, we're conditioned to believe that unless life is pointing somewhere toward a goal, an achievement, a future payoff, then it somehow lacks value. So the question, what is the meaning of my life, often hides a deeper fear. What if there is none?
And that fear becomes even sharper when we widen the lens, when we look at ourselves not just as individuals, but as tiny creatures on a small planet in an immense ancient universe.
Exactly. Modern science has given us a cosmic perspective that is, frankly, terrifying to the ego. Here we are, brief biological events, living on what looks like an insignificant speck of dust, while galaxies whirl around for billions of years without asking our permission or caring about our ambitions. From that view, it's very difficult to insist that our lives must have some grand, built-in purpose.
So, does that mean the universe is meaningless?
Only if you assume that meaning must always point somewhere else. In the West, we use the word meaning the way we use a signpost. It refers beyond itself. A word refers to a thing, an action refers to a future result. But there's another way of understanding meaning, one that doesn't depend on destination.
You're pointing toward Eastern philosophy here.
Yes, in Chinese and Japanese thought, especially in Taoism and Zen Buddhism, purposelessness is not an insult. It's a compliment. There's an old saying, if you can use purpose to arrive at purposelessness, then you have understood life. In other words, the highest fulfillment isn't reaching a goal, it's realizing there was nowhere you needed to go.
That's very counterintuitive for us. We are trained to believe that without purpose, life collapses into chaos.
And yet, chaos is not the enemy of life. It's one of its essential ingredients. Too much order becomes monotony. Too much predictability drains vitality. Think of music. Without variation, without surprise, it would be unbearable. Life is much the same. It needs a certain amount of disorder to stay alive. In the text you shared earlier, you describe people who, during war, experienced profound joy only after accepting that life was meaningless. Yes, this is one of the great paradoxes. When people were stripped of all future hope, careers destroyed, families scattered, death seemingly imminent, they sometimes experienced an extraordinary liberation. Because once you stop demanding that life justify itself, it begins to reveal its beauty.
So meaning appears when we stop insisting on it.
Precisely. The moment you stop asking, what is this for? And instead allow yourself to be fully present with what is, life stops being a means to an end and becomes an end in itself.
You often speak about nature as a teacher here. Mountains, rivers, waves, none of them seem to have a purpose in the way we define it.
A mountain is beautiful because it is so completely a mountain. Water is beautiful because it is so thoroughly water. They don't symbolize anything. They don't lead anywhere. They simply are, and that is their perfection.
And yet, humans seem uncomfortable with that idea. We distrust wandering. We suspect people who are going nowhere.
Yes, we even criminalize it. If you wander without purpose in a modern city, someone will stop you and ask what you're doing, as if wandering itself was suspicious. But wandering is the expression of abundance. It's what you do when you're not trying to get anywhere, when you're already home.
So, how does this help an individual, a single human soul, find meaning in a universe that appears indifferent?
By realizing that meaning is not something assigned from above. It's something that emerges when you stop demanding guarantees. You don't dance in order to reach a destination on the dance floor. You dance because dancing is the point.
So, life isn't a journey toward meaning, life is the dance.
Exactly. And once you see that, the universe no longer feels hostile or absurd. It becomes playful, musical, mysterious. And mystery, you see, is not a flaw. It's the highest form of meaning.
If there were one final thing you'd want people to understand about purpose and meaning, what would it be?
That the moment you stop trying to make something of life, life begins to make something of you. And that the deepest wisdom is not an answer, but wonder.